Hi folks and friends on YouTube. Thanks for being here. I'm Still Dreaming is my channel, and in this video I want to talk about why I'm supporting Robert F. Kennedy Jr., independent candidate for President of the United States in the general election in November 2024. And I've taken notes, so hopefully I won't ramble too much. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and jump into it now. Okay, so what you're looking at right here in front of me is a chronological list of presidents of the United States of America from 1961 to present. And I'll explain in a minute why I took the time to make this list. So, okay, so here we go. So we have Kennedy. Well, you see here I've written down all the names of the presidents from John F. Kennedy from 1961 all the way to Joe Biden to present. Okay, so you know, something that I thought was kind of interesting was that since 1961 to now, there have been 6 Democratic presidents and there have been 6 Republican presidents. And the reason why I started with John F. Kennedy was because I was born in 1963, and that's the year that he was assassinated. He was assassinated 1 month after I was born. And again, like I said, since that time, there have been 6 Democratic presidents and there have been 6 Republican presidents. Okay, so the reason why I did this was because I wanted to explain that I became more involved and interested in presidents starting with Bill Clinton, okay? And he became president in 1993. So I was 30 years old. I was born in 63. So in 1993, I was 30 years old. So that's really about the time that I became more interested and more involved and more interested in presidential elections. So that's why I took the time to do this, okay? So, the next thing I wanted to show you was that I actually got an opportunity to get a glimpse of President Bill Clinton in 1995. See here? This was an invitation. You are invited to hear President Bill Clinton celebrate the recovery of Cal State Northridge. That was in January 1995. And the recovery that they're talking about is in 1994 is when we had the Northridge earthquake, okay? So at that time, I was working for a housing authority, and if you don't know what a housing authority is, it's a non-profit agency that administers federally funded rent subsidy programs through the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. Okay, so I started working for a housing authority back in 1989, and I worked for the housing authority for, 18 years for the Area Housing Authority of the County of Ventura and 2 years with the Housing Authority of the City of Las Cruces in New Mexico. Okay, so back to this story. So we had the Northridge earthquake in January of 1994, and in a year later, 1995, they had this commemoration at the University of Northridge, Cal State University, Cal State University Northridge. And so the reason why I got an invitation to attend that was because, like I said, I used to work for the Housing Authority. So I'm so sorry about Dice barking in the background. Dice! Come here! Come here! Anyway, so after the earthquake, some housing authorities here in LA and Ventura County received emergency vouchers to house families that became displaced due to the Northridge earthquake. Okay, so a year later, after the earthquake, the housing authority that I worked for at the time, which was the Area Housing Authority of the County of Ventura, we received tickets to attend this commemoration. So I was able to attend, and I got a glimpse of President Bill Clinton, and I actually took the time to write this about my experience. Dice, stop it. He's barking at birds behind me. Okay, so I wrote this. January 17th, 1995, Today I Saw the President by Rebecca. My last name at the time was Serrano. And so this is what I wrote. It was a cold morning and the sky was a sparkling clear blue. There were so many people there waiting to hear the president speak. It struck me how we're all so different from each other, yet we're all so much alike. We're Americans. I was so excited. Through the crowd, I caught glimpses of Mr. Clinton, and under my breath I said, God bless this man, God bless our president. I heard people around me talking, expressing their political views and opinions. Some people said he's not a good president, but I don't agree. I think he's a good president and a good man, and I truly believe he is concerned about our country and our welfare. And when I heard him speak, it was thrilling. And the president said how great our country is and how all our hopes and dreams can become realities if we strive to be what we can be. And he reminded us we are a mighty nation. Today I felt extremely proud to be an American. So I wanted to share that with you. And then, Dice, come here. Hey. God. Okay, so I wanted to share that. And then another thing I wanted to share was that in 2009, now we were living in Las Cruces, New Mexico in 2009. That's when President Barack Obama was president. And I took the time to write this letter to President Barack Obama. Okay, and the reason why I wrote the letter, I highlighted right here. Well, primarily the reason I wrote to him was because, see here, I put, we support your proposed health care reform. Universal health care should be a fundamental right, not a privilege. So the letter, the reason for me writing the letter to President Barack Obama had to do with my support of the his proposed health care reform. Okay, so and that's why I wrote the letter, and I highlighted this too because I thought this was interesting. So this goes back to 2009, and see here I highlighted it here. It says, my husband and I are average tax-paying American citizens, and we are a family of 4 with an annual income of roughly $45,000. So I was making, together, him and I were making that amount in 2009. So, and the thing that was so exciting was that I wrote the letter in August August 27th, and I received a letter back from the White House on September 17th, 2009. So I remember being so excited when I went to the mailbox that day, and I got this letter. See here? See where it says Las Cruces, New Mexico, from the White House, Washington, D.C. So I wanted to show this to you because I'm so sorry about... Guys, come here. Come here, boy. Oh, God. I don't know, maybe I should stop and start over. Anyway, I just wanted to share that I did get a letter back from the White House. Okay, now moving right along. This is a list of why I'm supporting Robert F. Kennedy Jr., independent candidate for President of the United States of America. So this is what I came up with. Okay, so I'm just going to read, just a minute. Will you please stop? Go. Go on. Okay, I guess I'm going to stand here so I can... Okay, so this is my list. Oh my gosh. Gosh. Come on, come on, come on. Let's go. Come on. Okay, so he's noble, well-meaning, and full of good intention like his father. He has integrity, ethics, and high ideals. He's a peacemaker. He's fair and just. He's committed to cleaning up our dirty government. He has faith in God. He's a praying man, and he's spiritual. He's naturally confident in his abilities. He's good-natured and good-humored. He has exemplary leadership skills. He's truthful and realistic about the problems facing our country. He wants to take on corporate capture and big pharma. He wants to address the issue of chronic disease in our country. He wants to get Americans healthy again. He's the best candidate to bring back a strong economy. He's not tied to any big lobbies. He's intellectual. He's an intellectual who presents new information and fresh ideas. He wants to bring our country back together and heal the division. He wants to end the forever wars and invest in the middle class. He wants people to own homes. He's an environmental lawyer, and he cares about the environment. All right, I'm going to try and come back to my spot so I can take a seat. And we're almost done. This is the last page. I guess, you know, I want to say that this last page is a little more personal, you know, personal to me. Okay, so why I feel a relatable connection to Robert Kennedy Jr. I have joyful reasons and I have sorrowful reasons. So these are the joyful reasons, okay? Since my youth, I've always felt endearingly drawn to the Kennedys. Now, I remember when I was a little girl, I remember my mother used to have this book, and it was a book about his uncle John F. Kennedy and his term and his assassination. And I remember I just used to sit on the carpet in the living room, and I don't even think I could read the book at the time, but there were a lot of pictures in the book, and I just remember, for some reason, I really can't explain why, but I was just drawn to him. I think I just had this sense that he was a good man. Okay, and then the other reason why I can relate to Robert Kennedy Jr. is because I was also raised Catholic, and he was too. I can also say that I'm my mother's daughter. Likewise, Bobby is his father's son. What I mean by that is my mother had a profound influence on me, more so in my adult life. I think more so in my adult life because as I matured, I really began to appreciate my mother for all that she was and all that she meant to me and all that she taught me, and all the things I learned from my mother. And I kind of really feel like, well, like I said, I'm my mother's daughter, and Robert Kennedy Jr. is his father's son. Okay, so then moving on. He believes the key to happiness is in service to others, as do I. So what I mean by that, well, once early on when I first began to follow him and watch videos of him and interviews and whatnot, I heard him say in an interview that the interviewer asked him like a list of questions, and one of the questions was what he felt was the key to happiness, and he paused for a minute, and then he said that he really believed that the key to happiness is in service to others, and that really resonated with me. I really feel that's true. That's true. And the last thing is, I'm just going to go ahead and say it because basically I'm a random nobody person who came up, who decided to make my own YouTube channel for a couple of reasons, but primarily to share my Catholic faith. Secondary, because I wanted to shine light on Bobby. In that one video, I went to see him back in November. He came to Ojai, California, and I took some video of him and I posted it on my channel. And there's one video that has received 20,000 views. So, that says a lot, in my opinion, about Robert Kennedy. Okay. Now moving on to the sorrowful reasons why I feel a relatable connection to Bobby Kennedy Jr. Okay, so I start with here, harmful effects of drug addiction. So it's no secret, he's talked about it before, that, he was a drug addict, and I have a son and daughter, and their father was an IV drug user, okay, and he ended up contracting hepatitis C, and he ended up getting liver failure as a consequence, as a result of the hepatitis C, and he died at the age of 47, okay, so I know I can relate to, I've never been a drug addict myself. I've never been an IV drug user, but I was married to one, and my kid's father was one, and consequently, unfortunately, he died from the harmful effects of his drug addiction. Okay, the next thing is victim of gun violence. Okay, so everybody knows John F. Kennedy, Robert Kennedy Jr.'s uncle, was assassinated, and Robert F. Kennedy Sr. was assassinated. So this I want to share. This man was my uncle. His name was Dexter Shannon. And back in 2006, there was a postal shooting at a postal annex in Goleta, California. Goleta's close to Santa Barbara, California. And you can even find, there's a crime story on YouTube. If you Google Goleta Rampage, you'll find it, okay? So this picture here, this is my Aunt Charlotte. She's my father's sister, and she married Dexter, and they had 2 daughters. These are my 2 cousins. This is Ebony, Shannon, and Essence, my 2 cousins. They're sisters. This was their father, and they lost their father to gun violence. So we know what that feels like, to lose somebody to gun violence. And the next thing I have listed here is harmful effects of pesticides resulting in cancer. So you know that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is an environmental lawyer, and he's sued companies and corporations for their harmful effects of pesticides in the environment. So here's the thing. My mother grew up in the 50s. My mother was from Heber, California. That's in here. That's in Imperial County, and my mother had 9 brothers and sisters, and the thing is, 3 of the 9 brothers and sisters all died from blood cancer. My mother was the first. This was my mother, Rosalie Hernandez, and she was born in 1945, and she died in 2009 from leukemia. Then the next one to pass away was my mother's brother, Juan Avila. He was born in 1950. He died in 2012. He got Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is a blood cancer. My mother's older sister, Anna, or Anita Cruz, she was born in 1941, and she passed away in 2016. She also ended up getting Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is a blood cancer. So the 3 of them all grew up in the 50s. They were coming up in the 50s, and where they lived in Heber, California, right behind their house was a cotton field, a huge cotton field, and they used to crop dust this cotton field. I remember, I have a vague memory of when I was a little girl. I used to wander out in my grandmother's backyard, and then I would go under the wood fence and cross a little dirt road, and there was the cotton field. So I you know, what are the odds of 3 of my my mother, her brother, and her sister all coming up with a blood cancer. And so, I mean, is it a coincidence? I guess someone could say, yeah, it was a coincidence, but, you know, could there be a correlation between them growing up in the 50s, you know, where the area where they lived, behind their house, where they used to crop dust? Okay, moving along. Suicide. Now, Robert F. Kennedy, his first wife, died of suicide, and my neighbor here next door, my neighbor died of suicide in 2021. So that was a sad thing. And lastly, this is me personally, okay? Us personally, as a family, we have never been able to save. And I want to say that this is a true thing. I'm 60 years old, and my adult life. Now, when I was a kid, yeah, we used to go on vacation because my mom and dad would take us on vacations. You know, we'd go camping to Yosemite, we'd go to Lake Tahoe and Disneyland, and you know, those types of things. As an adult, I'm 60 years old now, and as an adult, I've been able to take one vacation in my adult life, and that was back in 2007 when we went to visit the Grand Canyon in Arizona, and after that we went to Disneyland. You know, and I've heard Robert F. Kennedy Jr. talk about how, I think he said that like 56% of the Americans today, the American family today, is living paycheck to paycheck, and how it would be, you know, it would, an American family now, it's difficult. It would be hard pressed to put their hands on $1,000 if they had an emergency, and we're one of those families. It would be difficult for me to put my hands on $1,000 right now. I've essentially been living paycheck to paycheck for the last 20 plus years. So I can relate to that. I can relate to that. So, all right, well, I'm going to close for now. Sorry, I didn't mean to end in a bad note. It's an exciting thing. It's a good thing that Robert Kennedy Jr. is running for president. And the whole reason why, one of the reasons why I made my YouTube channel was so that I could shine light on Bobby and his vision. And I'm going to continue to support him, and I'm going to continue to share good things and promote his candidacy for president. And so I'm going to end it there because this video is 27 minutes and 16 minutes, 27 minutes and 20 seconds long. So I'm going to say goodbye now. And I'm really sorry about all that annoying barking at the beginning. All right, bye you guys. Take care. I'll see you at the next video. Bye now.